we all come from a region where it is not possible to achieve anything if you are not speaking to the traditional authorities. And as a new leadership that came in, we made it our business. That is why most of you were in that forum, that we've been having a discussion with you and trying to encourage all of you to come on board. We made it our business because we know that if you represent the people and the people are at war, then you must be the one that we should be talking to, so that whatever we are doing should be the will of the people. And we are grateful for your cooperation. We are extremely grateful that you recognize that there is a problem and we cannot solve this problem unless we solve it as a collective, as a people. And since the chairman of the governing council is visiting South Africa, it was short notice, we had to make sure that we meet you apart from the rest of the people. It's very important, so that we have a short discussion, just so that you can be able to have an opportunity to ask questions directly, and also just it also encourages you, because we are in the process of trying to ensure that we visit. We have about, if my statistics are correct, there are about 15,000 Southern Cameroonians. Yeah, and if that is officially, it means that unofficially, unofficially we are talking about maybe 30,000 or more. That is a critical mass. And today, I am able to have more opportunity in a land where freedom was fought for when I was not even there than I was ever had in my own supposed country. So we did not choose this fight chose us. There is no sitting on the fence. So if we have seen it and it has worked, why do we want to invent it? So it is not possible unless we bring you guys on board. And since His Excellency is here, I think I would not want to talk much, because we don't have a lot of time now for this particular meeting, since because of time constraint. So I would immediately introduce, allow His Excellency to then, give a word. And it's a very simple session. Give you a word, and please feel free to ask any question of any kind. If it's a question that pertains to South Africa, I'm here to chip in, so that we can then stay back and organize ourselves properly and see how we ensure that the next generation does not have to live the kind of life that we live.
I want to join the chairman here to thank you for coming. This journey is a journey when we go together, and you are going to play a massive role moving forward. I don't know what you've done so far, but I can tell you, in the last 2 weeks, this thing has taken a different dimension where we must bring everybody on board. He said, people standing in the fence. As I said in the morning, there's no fence again. The fence has been so much more like either on our side or on the side of the political campaign. And we know that the battle lines have been drawn. And when I was a student in university, we were signing petitions to protest to support the struggle for South Africa in the UK. That's how much we contributed to make this place free. So I urge all of you to go to them now and ask them to support us, because we do need to get free. I started speaking with the leadership team here this morning, and I said, if there are 5,000 of you, then everybody is contributing just 10 rand. 5,000, money changes. It is 10,000, money changes. So this game is a game of numbers, and that's why your role is very important. We know that some people out of sheer fear think that Paul Biya is some monster. Some people call me in the village and they say, Sisiku, why did you do this? That hungry lion, our mouth is open, and then you come and put your head. What do you think it will do? Just crush you. I said, was somebody going to do this? Somebody has to take it over.
Muna, Foncha, and Ndele, they were all in their late 20s and early 30s when they had a chance to build a nation. As a matter of fact, we go down to 1954 when they actually moved from the Enugu House of Chiefs to come and set up their own country. Most of them were under 30. They were less educated than we are. They were younger. They were less traveled. But they had the responsibility of building their own nation. They were driven from Enugu. It was so bad in Enugu in 1954 that if a Southern Cameroonian woman went to the market, all she needed to do was to price at how much is this thing. If an Igbo woman says 2 naira, unpacked it and put it in the bag to give her. She had no right to price it. That's how bad the things were. You see, part of the reason why we are not as involved as we should be is the lack of the knowledge of where we are coming from. Our people did not have a choice in 1961. They were truly caught between the rock and the hot plate. On the one side, there were these Inugu people who had just driven them away. And on this side, we thought that we had brothers. But of course, we all know 56 years later that we jumped from the frying pan straight into the fire. And if we understand what promise we have in the days ahead, in the years ahead, I am in this struggle because I believe from the depth of my heart that in 4 years' time, when anybody crosses the Mungo from the east to the west, that person will say, wow, now I know why these people wanted to leave. I am so convinced that when somebody will leave Babachu before you get to Santa, success does not hide. There will be something that will make the person say, oh, now I understand why these people are doing this. And the people who are going to do that will be called experts and expatriates. But guess what? They will be of origin from southern Cameroons. Because the misfortune we have had in these 56 years of being thrown out into the world out there, it's going to become our biggest blessing. We have been, by that misfortune, we have found ourselves scattered like seeds across the world. We have learned that everything they know, we now know. All of us sitting here, if we had a choice, we would not be here. If they give you the job you are doing now, you'd rather do it in your village. How many South Africans are in your village working there? There are not many. So why are we here? But guess what? You and me have a wonderful opportunity. A clean slate has been thrown to us. If we can grab it to design and build our own nation. That's the energy that drives me every morning. I've seen friends who have built cities in Nigeria from scratch. I mean, they show you a piece of land vast, and within a couple of months, a couple of years, you see a sprawling city with shopping malls, roads and bridges, flyovers everywhere, designed by a Cameroonian structural engineer. If my brother can do that in Nigeria, what can he do in the country he calls his home? I don't want to make this a sermon. I will talk more when we have all the other people, so I don't repeat it to you. I'll take a couple of questions. We are coming a long way, but trust me, the road ahead could be longer. This might not be such an easy race, but it's a race that if we are determined, as I know some of us are determined, it's not an if, it's when we get to where. One of the things that have touched me so much, and I put it in the speech I'm going to give maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, is because it's very dear to my heart. A friend called me and said, "Jesus, can you believe?" He said he went out, he was in Bamenda, and he was rushing to go get a car in the morning. He saw these old women going to church, 5:30. Very cold in Bamenda, they were going, and then he heard one woman turn and look at her friend in the back. I said, Wakapi, come on, we'll go pray for Sisiku. How can you hear something like that and you feel like sleeping? Those old women, in all fairness, will not benefit from what we are working for. They are almost going to their graves. But she's doing that because of the promise that this struggle goes for her children and her grandchildren. If people like that can still be dedicating, that's all she has. That's her widow mind to the struggle. If that woman will wake up at 5:30 and go pray for Sisiku, trust me, my friends, we need to do more. I know you're doing a lot already, but if you remember that woman, we need to do more. This struggle can take us very far. Trust me, this is a promise. Some nations are coming. If you go to them now and say, listen, come and help free us. But I have enough knowledge not to do that. Because you will live from one enslavement from Paul Biya to the enslavement of that other nation. Because they will come with everything. But if they sell a caterpillar for $1 million, because you're begging it from them, they'll write it $3 million and you accept because you need the caterpillar. But guess what? If we, in this move that we are doing, if we raise $1 billion, which something tells me we have at least $5 to $10 billion in the accounts of some Cameroonians. And my duty in this is that we have to raise $1 billion in investment fund. I'm not talking about dash. I have said that Southern Cameroon is an investor's heaven. We have a duty, we have traveled, until you get to the kind of position we are now, then you say, whoa, leadership is a tough thing. When you go to home and you see bad roads, you can stand and say, oh, these are our leaders, see? But don't they travel? And suddenly now I wake up and I say, oh, I can't say anything again. The buck ends here. It's a huge responsibility. But guess what? It's a responsibility that to me is truly divine. I sometimes turn around and I'm like, this is Sisiku, they are talking. When you see, I can't believe it's me. I am the least likely person to be here. But again, like Paul said in the Bible, when he came to meet the disciples, he had never wine or dined with Jesus. When he came to meet the disciples, they say, you're not one of us. He said, I might be the least likely person to be here, but because he called me to be here, I'm going to be here. And I'm sure you know he don't have a testimony. So I don't know how I found myself here. I know one thing for sure, God wanted me to be here.
Amen.
When I look at every book I've read in the last, God knows how many years, the one thing that I've done a lot is reading. That's one thing most people who know me know, that I like reading. I have read the biographies of almost every leader there is. From Abraham Lincoln to Clinton to Obama to Obasanjo, you name them, I've read all them. I'm not sure I knew why I was reading those things, but it's becoming almost obvious to me that God was preparing me for this day. I will not let you pull down. Trust me, I'll give you my best. The only way I'll do that, and of course, by my own means, there's nothing. I've asked people to pray. Our power and the God that we have, his hands are not short. No matter what they say is in Yaoundé, if we continue and pray, God will see us through. He brought this struggle to us at this time, and he's not going to let us go. Having said that, we have to individually make this contribution. So I've asked the leadership team here that they should come to all of you. There are some of our brothers and sisters who are really excited about this. When you tell them now that chairman has come, they will say, hey, if I go and stand with chairman and take a picture, it will be on social media. And my friends will say, hey, that's you. And I might not go back home again. Let's respect them. But some of them, and most of them, are ready to support this struggle. So I've asked the leadership team here to liaise with the chiefs here, and all of you leaders, take exercise books. And if somebody doesn't even want you to put the name and say, put there, say, I don't know, what are the familiar names here? Put Mandela. Write the name Mandela. As long as that person accepts that that's his name or her name, and he or she will come and be contributing. All we need now is their support. It doesn't have to be overt like our own. We have decided to give ourselves in the struggle. We'll end up either as heroes or martyrs. One way or the other, we are part of this struggle. Somebody told me yesterday when I said I could not come because security said, Sisiku, you need to try and go. I said, one thing I don't want to do about this struggle is that when they go to Boya, somebody stands up to speak and say, oh, we know that Sisiku is up there looking down. I don't want to look down. I want to be there. Like he introduced me, I want somebody to say, Sisiku, thank you for your contribution. I don't want to go and contribute. So, I am very conscious about where we are going. I'm going to lead this team as best to the best of my ability. Could I make mistakes? Almost certainly. That's only why we are human. But trust me, the decisions I make will be in the best interest of our nation. That's why sometimes I get a lot of advice. But one thing you realize is that no sooner have you become president than everybody who knows you becomes president. They will give you advice and expect that one to go. You know how we do about football? Everybody's a coach. They say, this man must play, this man must. That's how I find myself. It's very interesting to find. There's nothing. This thing can overwhelm you, it can make you funny, you can laugh about it, you can cry about it. Because the options are so many. And yet you have to take a decision. This co-resumption thing, if I tell you the number of advice I've got, it's like, Derek was saying that on my Facebook, the people take fun. They take pleasure in just giving me advice. And I'm sure by the day I'll make an announcement about school resumption, some people will say, why would we choose this person? Then you have to expect that. But I think that the vast majority will know that in the interest of our struggle, those decisions have to be made. Some of them are very tough. But please, go back to your teams. Chiefs, people, call your people. Tell them that we understand you don't want to be seen. But you know that this struggle is bigger than every one of us. You're going to be a partaker in this new nation, whether you like it or not. Don't mind what they are saying, some of them are jumping ship. When we go to Boya, some of the people you are not seeing now will be the most fancy dressed people in Boya on that day. Trust me. Some of my friends now have removed my pictures from their walls. Hey, Sisiku, of course I understand. I need to call them. I called their wives. I said, tell your husband to remove my picture from his wall. Because I've already heard that he's removed it. You call someone, their voice are cracking on the phone. How can you do this? Then I asked him, I said, were you expecting a leader? I said, yes. I said, oh, really? Was that person supposed to be somebody's husband or wife? I said, yes. I said, how about a parent, a father or mother or some other people? I said, then they see where I'm going. I said, was that person supposed to have 2 eyes? 1 mouth, 2 ears? And then they realized the drift. That we were expecting a human being. You know, sometimes when I see the outpouring of excitement, I say to my son, I said, Papa, I'm sure even if it's you that they choose to be, I'm sure you will still have been supported. It's the time people were so desperate for leaders to see somebody to lead this, and I'm very humbled that it happened to me. I'm overwhelmed with this show of support. I'm scared, but I'm scared not to fail. I'm not scared of the challenge of how far from it. The only thing I'm scared is scared not to fail. And because I know I'm going to give it my all is always good enough. This struggle is not a struggle where you go to your house and you say, only me and my wife are going to contribute. No. If you have a child who is doing something, you know, ownership of this struggle will be when your child who's doing something and earning, I don't know how much you earn, maybe 100 rand. If you push her and say, what the struggle? Maybe she's a hairdresser somewhere and she says, that's my own 5 rand. There's nothing as good as ownership. She will claim this struggle, she will come to Boya, her dress will be shining, and she will say, did you know how much I contributed in it? Because she is part of the struggle. You cannot be in the struggle alone. You make it with you and your wife. Your children, don't forget, the real benefactors of this struggle will be our children. So anybody in your house who's doing something and getting paid, that person should contribute. You will see the reaction of that person will be different. If you go back and tell them that, oh, we saw Sisiku, because you're making it your thing. You go to your meeting, you and your wife contribute. Your wife did not come here because she's taking care of the house. But think of it for one moment, that the next time I'm coming, you guys are in that there's another session where the chairman is meeting only the youths, and all of you decide to send your children to that session. You know what they'll do? My rise, as divine as it is, would inspire them. They will begin to say, wait a minute, hey, you know that these people we're seeing on picture, he's actually on this, just like my dad. Because exactly that's who we are. And they too begin to dream. Trust me when I say I'm the least likely person to be here. If you know where I'm coming from, if I can make it to be here, any of your kids can make it double. So we need to inspire them. We need to show them that it's possible. Let them be part of this struggle. A child cannot leave your house, go and work, come back, earn money at the end of it. Tell them, reduce your take off, whatever. What some of the things they take, some luxury things that they spend their time, their money on. Tell them, sacrifice that money for this struggle. It will make a big difference. If we raise $1 billion in investment funding from our people, think about the returns on that money. If we put it to this struggle, so your money remains fine. We have a lot of investment options. But think about what that will do to this struggle. Because this struggle in 2017 has taken a totally new dimension. I have friends I used to laugh at when they talk about this struggle. Some of my friends, I have a friend who has never had a real job because he has been a member of SCNC from 20-something years ago. I used to laugh at him and say, you must be joking. SCNC, what's that supposed to mean? See where I find myself now. And as I said, this struggle, we didn't come and ask ourselves to do this struggle. This struggle has been forced on us. I've been in an interview somewhere, people ask me that, hey Sisiku, When do you think, what is your fallback position? What can you do going back to Cameroon? Told him, I said, no, there's no going back. We cross the bridge, and the government will the bridge up. We can't swim back. We can only go forward. So we are in this together. Let's bring everybody. Tell those who don't want to be seen. As people say, he will be seen for all of you. Just come and contribute. Let's make this thing happen. When we get to Goya, then the phone will be there. Don't criticize your friend who says, no, we are federalists. They have been saying that they will call for dialogue. They are waiting. It has not happened. We pray God it happens, because that's the faster way, so that we don't have to have casualties. But guess what? When you see what we see now coming from Noma, people are getting frustrated. And you can only push people so far. Today we are hearing that last night, they went to a Billy neighborhood and BMRC and they arrested 500 boys and girls. If you were supposed to be a 501 person to be arrested and you found a way to push back, are you sure you will not push back? Sometimes people do things that they do not because they want to hurt another person, but it's called self-defense. So we're getting to that stage. I said this in January on some international TV. I said, I think genocide next door. If the world does not come, you know, the world likes where there's disaster. I pray that we don't get to that stage and we can avoid that place if you guys put in your money and we get to talk to international organizations with a strong voice. I don't want to go to organizations with a cup in my hand and say, I'm begging. No. We are the owners of a nation, a very rich nation. We should go to them with authority and tell them, look, listen, you are going to come and invest here, or we'll debate the terms equally.
My question is just a funny one. The social media is overflowing with the fact that you came in with an Amazonian passport. Can you clarify us on that?
I know that we've designed a lot of things. We have our money, we have our passports, we're ready to go. But you see, there's a process for that to happen. We're doing the diplomacy. But if in terms of design, we have everything ready. We need to get to the United Nations. When we go to New York and we force the United Nations to give us a seat, and we sit there, thereafter a lot of things will change. The good thing is that because we have been working on this for a long time, once we sit, we will not be long, and you see a lot of stuff happening.
Good evening to everyone. I stand here to represent the Santa elites, and my name is Mr. Norbert Mufo. I've got two comments or questions to pose to you. The first one has to do with leadership. What, in your perspective, inspired you to take the forefront of this struggle? That's the first one. And then the second one, I just want to find out from what aspect or from what level of support do you need? Because I see it's like the focus is more on financial support. If there's other, can you just explain to me so that when I go back to my people, I'm going to explain to them. Thank you very much.
As I said, money can buy a lot of things. So if you give money, we could always use the money to bring the expertise we need. Having said that, that's not the only way we can support this movement. We have many organs that have been set up in the governing United Front to build. Somebody asked about passport. I said, we already have passport. We have money. There's a lot of creative power that's going back in. So in that regard, we like people who have expertise and skills. That's why it's not just to ask for an inventory of our people. It would be nice to say what you do, especially how you can contribute. We love support in cash, but support in kind is also very well. Remember, I just said these people should not be the one putting the chair. If somebody brought his 17-year-old here and the child arranged his chairs, that would be a massive contribution. So let's be ready to contribute in many forms. I hope that answers the question. Many forms. Please show us. By the way, you want to clap for my Secretary General? Ladies and gentlemen, this company has come this far because you have to count one person. This is one of the biggest supporters of this cause. This is one of the best. Milan has done. I would not have taken this position if Milan was not in the executive council. I can tell you. It's easy to take my own role because I really don't do anything. Because you have people like this doing all the work. So when you have people like this, you can take the role of chairman, and then he does work, you get the credit. Okay, so back to the first. That's the point. But so please, you guys, everybody must give what he or she has. It's not the money. Yes, money is good, but if you can contribute in many other forms, please express the interest. Is that desire to support that helps? I mean, if you have people coming here for a conference and you say, listen, I have an extra bed in my room, I can host somebody. You say the person, another person going to pay hotel bills. That's contributing. So that will help you to organize rallies that many people come, because people are saying that, listen, I can take a few more people in my house. That's how we show support. So I'm an engineer, I'm a computer specialist, so I don't know what some people thought I could speak, and they said, you know, we need you to be a spokesperson. Who can beat? I mean, I've been listening to Boebert. I said, hey, listen, let's keep both. So we all rallied and we made Boebert our spokesperson. So I didn't know that I was dodging the things I could have done and been hidden, only to come and be bombarded with the one that was going to take everything I've got. So, but again, these calls they get to a stage where when it happens, if you feel it's divine and you pray over it, you can only say yes. So I'm truly humbled. I'm still pinching myself when I wake up in the night. I'm like, is this you? My alarm phone rings and I get up at 1 o'clock and I have to do a conference call. We stay there for 2 hours. And people are saying, Sisiku. I said, okay, good night guys. And that call is waiting. The strength is coming from someplace. And I know that because that strength is coming from them. As you say, with Christ in the vessel, you smile at the storm. I really don't think this storm is insurmountable. We are going to cross that storm together. I don't have any magic wand. Now when I get in front of the Red Sea, I will drop it like Moses. But I look at all of you and I'm like, there is something special about this 2017. I tell you what, when I went home for Christmas, I'm a Sisiku for God's sake. When I go home, I enjoy drinking my bread. I drink palm wine and I dance the bread. That's the part of the fun of being a Sisiku. When you go home, people come from everywhere, they drink palm wine. And they invite some crates of beer in exchange for palm wine. They are happy to drink beer. You are happy to drink palm wine. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy that. I like, when I'm in the village, I'm a villager, and I enjoy being in my place. And I was spending my holiday. I never thought of anything until on the 31st of December. Something just struck. I said, oh, well, let me go watch the president's speech. And I went to my nephew's house. Because of the crisis that was happening, I expected a reconciliatory tone. I expected him to respect the people and speak to them like he showed some respect. And I went and sat there, watched him speak. By the time the Peter Isuka version came, I was fed up. When I listened to him, when I got up, I was with my friends, of course, I was surrounded by also my friends, and they said, Sisiku, we are not going to make that as the English version. As a typical Anglophone, I've been compared to no French, so I've heard the French version, I know what is it. As I walked away, I told my friends, I said, this 2017, what is going to happen to this country? Maybe they've been seeing it. And so most of them are now calling me and saying, what did you see that day? There's something about this 2017. Our story will never be the same. God has designed this 2017 as the year for our liberation. And we have to do it.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy that we have a courageous gentleman like you to come and speak to us. There is one question that brought me here, and I don't expect too much details because I know you have more information that you can expose here. What are our chances of winning? I know we'll win this struggle. There is no doubt. Anytime I go to bed, I pray. I know we'll win. What is our chance of winning the struggle? Is it legal or diplomatic? Thank you.
When you go to this kind of struggle, it's a multi-pronged approach. There are many different angles from which we are tackling this. From a legal perspective, our case is sealed and delivered. But of course, international politics is a lot more complicated than that. So because of that, we are approaching this from all possible angles. Networking is everything. So if you know somebody, please connect us. That's why we are very happy that the team in South Africa is doing as much as they are doing, because of course the people in South Africa have gone through what we are going through. It's just that their professor had a white skin, our own has a black skin. So we are going to make it. But that question is important for us to know that networking, you might know some people, you might be a driver, somebody who's very influential. Don't undermine that relationship. If you go back and the person says, oh, where were you yesterday? She said, you know, yesterday I didn't tell you, but I went to see the chairman because he has come here. Start a conversation. Who's your chairman? I said, what are you talking about? Tell your story. You might be very surprised. You might go to church and your pastor. So engage some people. You'll be very surprised how much you can open doors for funding, because at the end of the day we need funding. For funding and you might just find a sympathizer in the least likely place. So a problem shared is half solved. Don't keep this our problem within us. We are not going to win this thing amongst us. We need friends. Don't undermine the friend next to you.
Thank you for having me. First things first, Julius Tabe and Sisiku Tabe are the same person, and he is the chairperson of the Southern Cameroon Economic Council. Now, the problem in Cameroon has been for 56 years. Just for time constraints, I would say that in 1961, the people of British Southern Cameroon at the time were forced into an unholy marriage with the French-speaking Cameroon in what was termed a Brexit, where they were asked to vote for their independence by either joining Nigeria or joining the Republic of Cameroon. Given those two choices, without the option to be independent, because if they tried to be independent, they would have been a country. And if the recent trends were anything to measure, if we become a country or when we become a country, we would actually be more populated than 94 nations on the planet. But given those